and configure SCIM provisioning of users for Zscaler internet access. So if we come across to administration and into user management, don't have any users, groups or departments provisioned at the moment. So I'll say to administration, authentication settings, and identity providers, and I'll edit my Azure AD identity provider configuration. And what I'll do is I'll enable SCIM provisioning. And there's a couple of options in here. I'll regenerate the token. So I've got my SCIM endpoint, my bearer token, and I'll click Save. And I'll click Activate to make that token active. So we can see the token here. We'll come across to our Azure AD portal, and I'll come over to provisioning, and I'll click Get Started to enable provisioning. So provisioning mode, we'll go to automatic, and what we'll do is we'll copy these credentials over. So we'll take the SCIM URL, and we'll take the bearer token, and we can then test the connection. The connection was successful, so we can go ahead and click Save. Okay, so we want to change the settings. So we want to come into mappings, and we'll start with the user mappings. So we've got user principal name, the identity, object ID, whether it's active. We don't really need to send across the surname or the given name because they're concatenated to make the display name, and we take across the department. Now we don't want to synchronize all records. So what I'll do is I'll add a scoping filter, and what I'll look for is the company name includes Welsh Geek, because I only want to send across users that are a member of this specific organization. From this tenant within Azure AD as opposed to all users. So we'll click OK on that. And so the scope, only accounts that are a member of this company will get synchronized across. I could do things by group membership. There are a couple of different options, but only synchronize the users that you need to synchronize across to Zscaler Internet Access. Okay, so we'll come back and we'll do the same thing for the groups. We're just going to send across the display name of the group, the members of the group, and an object ID for the group. And again, we don't want to send across all records, so we'll add a scoping filter. And in this case, we'll say the display name includes the name Internet. So again, only send across the groups containing Internet. Of course, these are only the groups that you're going to apply policy on. There's no need to send across groups that we are not going to apply policy on. So we'll click OK on that. And that's now applied. Click Save. And then we can close this screen down. So we want to enable provisioning, and we'll synchronize all users and groups and click Save. And of course it'll evaluate all users and groups, and if they match those scoping filters, as in the users are a member of the company Welsh Geek, and the groups contain the word internet, then they will synchronize across. So it's running the initial synchronization now. We'll click refresh and we'll wait for that synchronization to occur. Synchronization with Azure AD can take up to 40 minutes. It runs on periodic 40-minute synchronization, so it does take a little bit of time to synchronize. We can provision on demand, so we could provision the group Internet Child, and it'll show us who the members of that are, and we'll select one person. We'll click provision. And that'll show us that it's gone through the filters. So the group information contains the word internet. The membership information contains the user, and the user operation created that user as well. So if we come across to the Zscaler portal, we can cancel out of this, come to administration, user management. We can see that user is being created, and they're a member of the group Internet Child, and they're in the department Children. And that's then created the groups here and the departments here. Come back across to Azure AD. We can refresh this. I think we're going to have to wait a little for this provisioning cycle to occur. So we click refresh and it says the cycle is completed. We've imported 6 users and 18 groups, and we can view the logs. And logs will go through all of the groups and users that it went through, which ones didn't pass, they were skipped because they didn't match the filter, or which ones did match and were synchronized across. So we can come across to the Zscaler portal, and if we go to, we come across to the Zscaler portal, we go administration, user management, and now we can see the users that have been imported and that they're the members of the appropriate groups, that all the groups that matched the filter have come across, even the ones that didn't have users in them, and the departments have come across as well. So now we've successfully configured SCIM synchronization for Zscaler Internet Access.